Hey everybody. Before we start, I'd like to ask you to take part in a little experiment. Can you please take off your devices, turn them off, mobile devices, tablets, whatever, and put them somewhere aside, and don't touch them for next 20 minutes, okay? I will tell you in the end why I ask you to do this, okay? Right. So one thing I want you to bring out of this room today is how to build successful international marketing strategy at Facebook. So you all know what is Facebook? Just double checking. So important thing to know is we have 375 million people who play games connected to Facebook on a monthly basis. So this is a huge audience of people. And what comes with it is thousands of game developers like you who come to Facebook to reach out to them, to invite them to play their games and to sell their games. So the real question for today is how to be heard in this big crowd and how to be heard by your players who will like and play your game. I work with many game developers, and today I compiled for you some of the best practices and tips that I saw working for them in achieving this goal. So the first best practice is about people. Please raise your hand if you ever used the word traffic when you talk about online marketing. Yeah, raise your hands, raise your hands. Yes, we all do this. We all do this. So we call them traffic, but the breaking news are that they are not traffic, they are people. Great surprise, really. I work in marketing for over 10 years, and what I learned so far is that marketing is really about psychology. So it's, of course, about numbers, and of course, it's about big numbers because we work with big audiences, but in the end of the day, it's social psychology. And especially it's true at Facebook, because at Facebook you can reach real people, and you talk to real people, and you talk about things that really matter for them. It's very important to keep this in mind on every step of building your campaigns, on every step of building your marketing. And later in my talk, I will show you how you can leverage your data differently when you keep idea of people first on every step. So the next best practice is about being where your players and payers are. This is the typical day of your players. So they switch between devices during the day, and on every of these devices they have time to play your game. So now it's not just about being on one or another platform, it's about creating 24/7 experience and 24/7 opportunity for your players to play and ultimately pay in your game. We also found that people who play games on cross-device, cross-device games, they tend to play and pay more. Yesterday, our head of EMEA platform was giving a talk about how to build successful cross-platform title. If you haven't been on his talk, I encourage you to check the recording after on the website of the conference. The next best practice is about knowing the value of your player. So this is very simple, but very powerful concept of lifetime value. So the famous Pareto rule is true for the game payments as well. So less part of your players bring the most part of your revenue. It's really important to understand how and why they play and how your player, the one for acquisition of whom you paid already, how ultimately he will bring you in the long term. Because in the end of the day, you want and can pay more for the people who will bring you more money. So it's really important to understand how much you can afford to pay for this. And nowadays in marketing, all the trends are about rising CPIs. So if you optimize only towards CPIs, you're missing on the big part of people who will bring you your revenue. There are different models of calculating LTV. They depend on game genre, they depend on your monetization mechanics. So I really advise you to check on them and adopt one of them on the early stage of your marketing in order to make it cost efficient. The next best practice is about two most important components for you. It's about your game and about your players. And you want to know everything about this interaction. It's very important to understand how many of people and how they behaved in your game. Who of them passed the tutorial? How many of them reached a certain level? How many of them played but then stopped playing? So when you have this information, you can use it to optimize your gameplay, but also to optimize your marketing. For this, we have really powerful tracking solution. It's called app events. So when you integrate your canvas or mobile game with our SDK, you can use app events. These are tags that you put on different milestones in your game. We have a really big set of default app events, but you also can develop your custom ones. And then people perform this action in your game. They automatically get collected to so-called custom audiences. So custom audience is a group of people who perform this action. So when you have these custom audiences, they make for you very precise and very precious set of information, which you can use for many different ways to improve your marketing, which I will tell later. The one way you can use custom audiences is to understand your players better. So for this best practice, I want you to think about your best friend, about somebody whom you know really well, and imagine you want to invite them to a movie. So first of all, you would probably know what kind of movie this person would like. So if they don't like comedies or action movies, you wouldn't invite them for this movie. And second of all, you probably would know how to sell this movie to them. You would say, oh, like this movie has your favorite actor or your favorite director, and so on. So the same kind of logic for communication applies to your people, to the people whom you want to invite to the game. You want to talk to them about the things that are relevant to them, and in a way which is relevant for them and interesting for them. For this, we have a tool which is called Audience Insights. It's available in your ads manager, and it's free. So it works in two ways. The first way you can use it is to understand people behavior on Facebook generally. So you can see, for example, what are demographics and interests of people who live in Germany, and so on. But what is more interesting and more useful for you is to use it together with custom audiences. So when you have this group of people, for example, people who pay the most in your game, you can upload them to the tool, and it will give you the very precise portrait of their interests, their demographics, their behavior, their likes, and so on. And then you can leverage this information, first of all, for targeting, for adjusting your advertising, and second of all, for your creatives and the way you talk and communicate with people. Next best practice is about being precise. So this is very, very important to be precise, because you can reach at Facebook millions of people, but in the end of the day, you need just a few of them who will like your game, who will play your game, and who will pay in your game. So for this, you can use our core targeting. This is a set of targeting options which are available right away in Ads Manager, Power Editor, or any other tools that you use for making advertising. We have standard set for interest, demographics, digital behaviors, devices, and so on. And what is most interesting for you as a game developers is that we have special clusters for gaming. For example, people who have Unity plugin installed, or people who tend to install games and play in games, and so on. But the next step is more advanced step, is that you can use, again, the discussed before, custom audiences, and to create, based on them, lookalike audience. So lookalike audience is a very powerful tool which helps you to find people who look already like your paying users, or playing users, or users who invite a lot of their friends in the game. It's up to you to decide for whom you want to go next. We've seen great success with the use of this tool with our larger partners. For example, Proficient City used lookalike audience for increasing their reach in English-speaking countries. So for the game War Tune, they created custom audiences of people who are very active players and who are paying players. And they created lookalike audiences and applied them for English-speaking countries. And as you can see, conversion rates were really high. And mostly it's because they reached already to people who will be more likely interested in their game. The next best practice is about talking to your people and engaging with them. So when you know how they behave in your game and who exactly behaves like this, you can then adjust your messaging and work on re-engagement. So when you think about re-engagement strategy, it's good to think about it from three perspectives. So first one is monetization. Second one is retention, and the third one is engagement. So these are three metrics which each of you takes care when you work on your game improvement. So for monetization, you can show offers to your paying users. For retention and engagement, you can return players or keep them engaged and playing on the new content updates or offering them to pass another level or so on. One of the case studies we have on re-engagement is with Nordius and their top 11 game. So what they did, they wanted to re-engage with their 20 million audience, and they were showing different ads depending on different people's behavior. And one of the goals was to boost sales and to boost revenue. Another goal was to encourage cross-platform installs. So as you can see, they reached both goals. So first of all, they returned their ad spend, and second of all, they could drive installs from desktop to mobile and so on. My favorite best practice, let them pay more. It will be the most relevant for ones of you who have your games on Facebook Canvas, because recently we launched an amazing ad unit which allows your players to buy in-game currency directly from the news feed. So it works together with custom audiences, and normally you would show it to people who you know are good players in your game or did a payment recently or playing quite frequently. And you would offer them to buy your in-game currency with a discount. So another way to use it is for conversion of non-payers to payers. So this would be to show these ads with a discount for really small items and encourage first payment with your non-paying players. Kixeye was one of the first advertisers who tested this unit, and they've seen really good results in conversion rates for people who were not paying before. And with the existing payers, they used a very interesting approach. So they created custom audiences of their whales, and they showed them really expensive packages. I think it was something like $500, and they did for them a discount for 50%. So they were selling it for $250. And the return on ad spend was 5,000%. I think it's not bad. And best practice number 9, leverage partnerships. So what this means? When you start doing international marketing at Facebook, you can face a set of challenges. So typical challenges are lots of manual work for managing campaigns, lots of different data you have to analyze and to work with, complexity of our product. I mean, sometimes we update our products and we introduce new tools and so on. So it's really hard to keep track on all this. And for this, we have a Facebook marketing program. We work with partners who have direct access to our API, and they develop their own solutions that help you to optimize different parts of your marketing. So some of them work specifically well with targeting, some of them focus on tracking, and so on. I really encourage you to check our PMD Center, which is an online catalog of all our marketing partners, and see who of them is available in your region and how they can help you to grow your business. And the last but not least best practice is remembering that your marketing is your product. So it's crucial to understand that people don't know about your game, they don't know about your company, they don't know about all the time and effort you put into your game development until they see your ad. And the reason why I ask you to put your phones aside, because to show that this behavior is not typical nowadays. People are super connected to their devices, because this is the most personal thing they have. People check their devices constantly, and the same applies to Facebook. So Facebook is a very personal space. It's a space where people connect with their families, with their friends, with the things that matter for them. And when you show advertising, you must understand that you intrude this personal place. So if you intrude it with something irrelevant, something with low quality, it will impact you ultimately, because first of all, you will pay for the advertising which you showed inefficiently, and second of all, you can lose their trust. We also care about the quality of advertising, and our algorithms, they penalize bad ads, the ads that sometimes people do just for high CTIs or high CTRs and so on. So it's really important to put the best of your creative talent in your teams into designing these ads. What is important to understand as well is that at Facebook, and actually in all marketing, you compete not only with just your competitors, and other game developers, you compete with everything. You compete with all other personal content that people see at Facebook, you compete with entertainment business, you compete with big brands, and so on. So when you think about your creatives, check also what others are doing. Others not only in gaming, but others across the industry. So the key takeaways that I want you to bring back to your teams about Facebook is that it's crucial to talk to right people, and we have all the targeting options for this. It's crucial to measure and track everything in order to optimize your marketing later. And it's very important to think about quality on every step of your marketing. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
We have time for a couple of questions. If you want to raise your hand, I'll bring the microphone over. No questions at all. You're very shy. So where can the audience go to learn more information? What particular website address should they go to find more information for developers?
So for developers, so we have Facebook for Business, which has all our marketing solutions, and you can check from them. And we also have a set of case studies. When you go, I think, Facebook success stories, there is a section about gaming, and you can check about all our partners and different solutions they applied.
Okay. No more questions? Well, if you're very shy, I know Oksana and the rest of the team are going to be here to answer some questions afterwards.
So you can find. Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much.